Hi everyone, how are you? It's Leigh Cross with the Mortgage Center, and I wanted to talk about different real estate investment strategies, I guess you can call it. Now there's many out there, and by no means is this the whole list, but I wanted to talk about the three main ones, especially one that's really becoming quite trendy right now, to help you to understand the difference between them in the general sense, as well as what you can do to follow up to get more information about it. So obviously we've got our traditional buy and hold, and what buy and hold is where you're buying an additional home, one that you do not live in, and you're renting it out. So you're buying it, you're holding it. Where you're making income is hopefully the rental payments covering the mortgage payments, which is then having that little bit of principal every month that gets packed away into equity that you then get to have. So someone else is essentially paying the mortgage for you. Now, how is this a good or a bad investment? Well, there's things you need to account for. One, does the rental payment cover not just the mortgage payment, but things like the heat and other things that come into equation, maintenance on the home, as well as yearly property taxes? If it's not covering those things, this is costing you money as an investment standpoint. Okay, so that's something important to remember. The other thing is, what about when it comes time to renew the mortgage on that home? What if rates are different? What if rates have gone up by 2 or 3%, which these days it seems very likely? If that's the case, now your mortgage payments are higher, and again, will the rental payments cover that? Now, if you're okay with taking a loss and you're just simply in it for kind of like having that additional savings account where it's just putting money away for you in the equity, then great. But if you're looking at this as where you're actually wanting to get a return back every year, you need to account for potential increases in your payments and evaluate if the market does fluctuate in rental income where maybe you can't charge as much. You need to make sure that you're still at least breaking even and hopefully profiting. Now, what else is there out there? Well, obviously there's the buy and flip. It was really big all of like the last 5 years or so, but it's really a dying trade. Why? Because house prices are not making the same jump anymore. I'm sure it'll come back on the scene, especially with prices being so low in the States right now. People could start, gathering them up at like, less than $100,000 purchase prices and then hopefully be able to flip them later on. But not the best time to be doing it at this exact point in time, being 2010. Okay, so what buying and flipping is where you're buying a house, hopefully for below market value for whatever reason. You're fixing it up by either staging it nice, doing full renovations, additions, things of that nature, and then selling it again. And you're hopefully doing this within like a couple of months, because what you're doing is you're basically buying it, output of money for the down payment, paying the monthly mortgage payment, so again, the shorter timeline, the better, but again, outputting. Then you're paying money for laborers. If you're not a contractor yourself, you're putting money out for fixtures, all those finishing touches, new flooring, or whatever it is you're doing to renovate the home, make it more appealing, and then selling it. And if you're not using a realtor, well then I hope you know what you're doing, because that's also an output of money. So there's a lot of money up front, and you cross your fingers you're going to see it in the end. Very risky, but very profitable if you know what you're doing and when to do it, which is key. So that's the other one. Now, the other strategy is actually becoming very trendy right now, and it's an alternative to the buy and hold. So buy and hold being the rental property. What this is buy and then lease it out. And in some situations, you're not even buying until you find someone who wants to buy that house or eventually buy it, but they can't afford it right now due to perhaps not enough down payment, bad credit, new immigrant, self-employed, or something of this nature. For whatever reason, they cannot get approved today, but in 2 years from now, 3 years from now, they will be able to be approved. And before you determine that yourself, get a mortgage broker like me or something to evaluate these tenant buyers to ensure that they can in fact afford this house someday. But what it basically is it's just like leasing to own a car, except you're doing it with a home. But you're the investor who's buying the home, and then someone's leasing from you. So what they're having to do is put a lump sum up front, so you're getting cash flow right away. Then they're paying market rent which is giving you cash flow, and they're paying a bit above market rent, which is then going towards credits to help them with their down payment later. So basically, you're getting money up front and you're getting cash flow all the way along, and then you're getting someone to buy the house at the end of it all for a pre-agreed upon price, although not all of you do that out there, and you should do a pre-agreed upon price just to safeguard both of you. But again, that's a whole other blog post. But this is becoming the new trend. Now, why is this good or bad? Well, obviously it's risky. What if they don't buy it? You want to make sure you can afford it on your own. If for whatever reason the tenant buyer just happens to leave and goes, and dumps their down payment, says, you know what, after all, I don't want this, and they walk away. You want to make sure you can afford it. But some good things is that you're getting someone who is not a renter, so they're going to take care of the home because they're treating it like their own. They might even do renovations or upgrades to it. You are getting cash flow, and you're getting someone who's going to be buying it at the end of it all. If they do happen to walk away, well, at least you still have the asset. You have their down payment. They're above market rent that they're paying each month up until the point they walk away. And you have the opportunity where you can either rent it, find another tenant buyer to lease it, or you can sell it. I kind of am really getting warm to it and liking this strategy the most right now, only because it seems the safest in terms of investment, safest in terms of dealing with people who are renting from you, and in this case they're leasing, and it's giving you many outs. It's not a strategy where you're putting a lot of money up front like flipping, and you're not dealing with potentially people who can hurt your asset like renters could. But these are all three different strategies, very different goals and objectives with each of them. Not all of them will be a strategy that works for you. But if you want to hear more, especially about the lease to own, actually there's seminars that I know of that are happening once a month that you can go see. If you're looking to be a flipper, let me know. I can put you in contact with a mentor. And same with renters. If you're wanting to have renters, give me a call. I can help you out with the financing for all of the above. So hopefully I'll be talking to you soon. Good luck. Don't make any hasty decisions, and don't just start purchasing houses for the sake of purchasing. Make sure you have an ultimate strategy in mind. So I'll be talking to you later.